Welcome back to Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends, wives, and especially your boyfriends and your husbands. Welcome to, is it Monday? Welcome to Monday's edition of the DCU Daily, and the Domestic Man theatrical run is coming to a close. It's over, right? Superman's cinematic run is pretty much over. I have never seen a movie on social media being glazed so much over its box office in the final third, fourth, and fifth week. Normally, people don't even talk about a movie's box office after the second week. I've barely heard a mention of Jurassic World Rebirth's box office in its third, fourth, and even fifth week. Now and again we hear it's now crossed over $800 million globally. Globally, people, is all that fucking matters. It's what you've made all together. But I'm going to give you one of my famous analogies. Superman's domestic box office is a bit like an OnlyFans first trap. When an OnlyFans first trap is creating her picture, she filters it. She hides her flabby belly and her big fat ass so you can't see it, so she looks like a very sexy woman you wouldn't mind doing a few rounds with. And this is what the whole domestic box office thing for Superman is. Hiding the fact that the movie barely made, what did it make internationally? I don't even know. Basically, 3/4, 90% of its box office, right, of its 570, 580 box office is from the domestic box office. It was literally a waste of their time releasing it internationally and promoting it internationally. International audiences basically didn't go and watch Domestic Man. So, I'll say it again, the domestic box office is respectable, kind of impressive. I'm surprised that it even made 570 million, because this is a horrible, awful representation of my hero Superman. It is a terrible film. Sorry, it's a terrible film because Superman is not represented in the right way. It's the worst Superman film I've ever seen, and I wanted to watch it at least twice, as you know, as I mentioned yesterday. And I only watched it when I had a free screening. I was never going to pay to watch that fucking slop again. So that's what they've been doing. They're an OnlyFans girl. Superman is an OnlyFans girl, and Superman's been hiding its big fat ass and its big flabby belly, so you would want to shag the movie, right? And I'm quite sure many normies would have been fooled into thinking this is a huge hit. James Gunn claims if we think his movie had to make more than Man of Steel or 700 to 850 million, then we don't understand the industry. Well, it's my industry as well as yours, my friend. And it's you who don't understand this industry if you feel you don't have to make a profit. You are an industry. You have to make money, and you didn't. I'm going to make you this promise right here and right now, and I don't know when it's going to happen. James Gunn will be fired as co-CEO of DC Studios, maybe now, maybe in 6 months, but it's going to happen. But it's going to happen by him failing upwards. He's going to get a new position, either as the CEO of DC Elseworlds, or he'll be put in charge of his Suicide Squad universe. They'll find a way to make it sound like a promotion. This is how it works. And I'm pretty sure now that Matt Reeves is going to come in as co-CEO of DC Studios. And to be clear, Matt Reeves and James Gunn are not friends. They're not friends. They don't like each other. Gunn has been trying to convince Reeves, any way he can, to join The Batman crime saga with the DCU. Now, Reeves has resisted, but I don't know what's going on right now. But Gunn has failed to launch the DCU successfully. The views for Creature Commandos on Max were pitiful. Not that Max is available to a great many people anyway, so they failed. there wasn't much interest in Creature Commandos because you don't launch a universe, a franchise on fucking streaming, right? Streaming's a fucking problem because it isn't available to enough people unless you're Netflix, right? The rest of them are geo fucking locked. But these geniuses are gonna release a Harry Potter rebooted series on a geo-locked fucking platform. Again, Harry Potter will be domestic Potter, right? These are the dumbest fucking people to be running entertainment at the worst time. Because, excuse me, but right now, entertainment is on its knees and it needs the intelligent people, the mentality that used to run it. But that's not what we've got. So let's be absolutely clear. Let's go back many, many months ago. I said to you that Superman must make as much or more than Man of Steel, that it needed to make 750 to 850, right? Because you want to make as much money as possible. It's not just important you break even or you make a slight profit. This is Superman. At the end of the day, Iron Man was released independently via an independent fucking film studio. Marvel Studios wasn't even owned by Disney at launch. And they made record-breaking box office. Why? Because they made a film. They made a film. James Gunn didn't make a film. He didn't make a film. He made... I don't even know how to fucking describe this thing. I love Superman. It's not a good representation of my hero. It's as simple as that. And it has flopped hard at the international box office. And that's very important. Because it does matter what you make altogether, as any industry, as any business. It doesn't matter if you do well in your own country, but you don't do well in the rest of the world. Because it is important, right, that you make as much money as possible. And this film hasn't. But they've been hiding their flabby belly, the film's flabby belly and big fat ass, and they keep on going on domestic. Superman has now beaten Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and the Batman domestically. Creative accounting, by the way. I'm not even sure if I believe the box office were being told it made domestically. But it's there. It's there in black and white. You have to respect that. I can't prove that it's a lie. But anyway, because I can't believe so many people in America went to see it. But apparently they did, and that's fair enough. But it doesn't matter. Because if it made enough domestically for its global to make it a huge profit, that wouldn't be a problem. But internationally, the turnout was terrible. Basically, the international audience went, up yours, we're not watching your shit, we want Cavill, we want the Snyderverse, and you fucking took it away from us. That's what the international box office tells me, and that's exactly what it should be telling you. It's not just that the international box office is low. It was barely non-existent. And they're fucking lucky that domestically, the American movie-going audience have got so many Big Macs and thick, slurpy, strawberry milkshakes going on in their fucking brain, where their brain cells used to be, that they'll watch any old shit delivered to them. But the international audience said fucking no. It's not a good movie. It is not as good as Man of Steel. It is not as good as Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. You can twist that fucking narrative any way you want. Man of Steel is art. Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice is art. I don't care what you think that the colours have been taken away and it's this, that, and Batman and Superman killed. I don't care! Batman vs Superman is art. The Snyder Cut is absolutely art. Right? Aquaman is a beautiful fucking superhero adaptation. And the man who directed it was driven out of the company by James fucking Gunn. It's James Wan, it's Sir James Wan who should be running DC Studios. One of the greatest creators. He owns his own fucking production company or studio, right? And they've driven him to Universal. They literally drove him in a car to Universal. They may as well have. It's insane. This is David Zaslav. He allowed James Wan to leave this company. David Zaslav knows nothing about scripted entertainment, and he's admitted that before. He started taking advice from experienced people, then he stopped taking advice from experienced people and started listening to James Gunn, who is an average writer-director at most. He's good at doing his one trick, but he's only got that one trick up his sleeve. And if he is doing a super fucking family follow-up to Superman, which I doubt, then it's his one trick again. It's a group of fucking super people, right, from the super family. It's dumb. It's stupid. I'm not surprised, by the way. He claimed we were going to be shocked about what he's going to do next. So it's going to be interesting. James Gunn failed David Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery. And there can only be one reaction to that. Him being fired or basically failing upwards, right? And he will be given the position of running his Peacemaker series. People are going to love Peacemaker too, I'm quite sure. His Suicide Squad movie was great. He's good at doing those things. Before he was given the Superman gig, he was talking about just working on streaming because he said he preferred streaming and TV to cinema. He was saying that because his Suicide Squad movie flopped. But we have a bigger issue here with Fantastic Four flopping and all the MCU's, sludge flopping as well. People are done now with supers, and I think it doesn't matter what you give them now. It's going to be very hard to excite a movie-going crowd with supers, with comic book movies. They've had enough. The public have fallen out of love with supers, with comic book movies, because they've been given so many ordinary, bad movies that they're basically seeing it as the same thing. And this is the reaction from the public now. Oh no, not a fucking another one. They're bored, right? They are bored, and especially the international audience. But it's interesting because I think Fantastic Four First Steps is probably doing better internationally than it is domestically. That tells you another story. Look, the audience for cinemas, theatrically, has shrunk. Now, Hollywood studios are making that the theatre companies' responsibility. They're saying to them, make better toilets, reduce your prices, etc., 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 right? No, it's nothing to do with the theatres. The theatres could be full of shit, urine, and cobwebs, and if you put up great entertainment, people will sit in the turd, the shit, and the urine to watch it. That's the truth of the matter. They don't know how to entertain people. They refuse to entertain people. And look now, like Seth MacFarlane's come out and him saying we need more hopeful movies and television because we live in such bad times today. It's not just about, and he's saying dystopian stories are not hopeful and we shouldn't be doing them. No, right? Lost is a bit of a dystopian story, but there's hope within that story. There's a lot of stories. 24 is a kind of a dark story, but there's moments of hope when you see Jack Bauer being a hero. It's not about that. It's about simply entertaining people. And if you think it's just about giving people your brand of hope, you will keep on failing. Because unfortunately, Seth, you're a very talented man, by the way. I love Family Guy and American Dad. You are a genius, but you don't understand. It's not just about hope. It's about people smiling and laughing, crying, feeling anger when there's an angry situation in a story. It's about the manipulation of people's emotions and stories, whether it's book form, comic form, or visual form on the television or the cinema screen. It's about manipulating people's emotions, and none of you understand that anymore. Hollywood, English-speaking Western entertainment, has a collection of people who don't understand the industry they're in. It's really, really simple. You just have to entertain people. If you make something people love, right, like Weapons, right? The Weapons box office is brilliant. Warner Brothers, by the way, we mock them, but they're doing quite well this year. They've broken a record, 5 or 6 movies in a row that have made, more than 40 million domestically on its opening weekend. That's great. But they're still in debt, they're still in trouble, but it's a good year for WB. And if they have the next 5 years like this, maybe they can get out of the problem. Because of Adby and DeLuca, not because of David Zaslav or James Gunn. At the end of the day, if Adby and DeLuca have been in this industry for a long time, they understand. And it's not complicated to understand this industry. Anyone can understand this industry. Gunn says you don't understand this industry. It's not a complicated industry. Just fucking entertain people. Finito.